Look at us, a new episode 2 weeks in a row.
I know, we're back in our rhythm.
Oh my god, we're so good at this. We are back again with more.
Get used to it.
Just a stream of consciousness on this show, basically. We've already had half a bottle of wine. Come on in.
Let's get it started.
Yes, okay, I know it's July officially, but we still gotta talk about some gay stuff.
Yeah.
We're not like all those corporations that
Right.
tear down their flag July 1st. No. We're two shady gay men in West Hollywood. Let's not forget. So something that I don't know how this skipped our attention. I guess, well, obviously we did take a 2-month break.
Yeah.
But the last episode we did not talk about NeNe Leakes and T.S. Madison.
Oh, yes. We didn't.
No.
How did that skip both of our notes?
I do not know.
Well, let's talk about it.
Probably because I was just mad and didn't want to put my thoughts down about it.
Probably.
Okay, well, you're the housewives aficionado.
Yes, I am.
I personally have, just for the record, always stated
we are. Yes, but
not me.
But we are going to blindly have him watch a couple episodes, and he's agreed to this just to react to it.
I have also always, I know, in our conversation, stated that NeNe is a bully, and she seems like a mean person.
Yes.
And now maybe that was a character she played on a show, but...
No.
Has she displayed this kind of attitude towards the queer community before? So if you haven't seen this interview...
Not that I'm aware of,
NeNe was talking to T.S. Madison about men who sleep with the girls, the dolls, and every wrong possible thing.
Literally. And she's a horrible host because she doesn't stop and listen. It's constant interrupting and her opinion, and which everyone has an opinion on things, but your opinion can also be extremely wrong. And T.S. Madison did just a grade A job with patience and with explaining things and creating scenarios. And it caused a whole uproar.
I saw a lot of people that were saying that T.S. Madison should have done more and really pressed her, what have you. But one, I don't think that's always the job.
No.
Because that isn't necessarily how T.S. Madison is going to handle it.
Exactly.
She... basically...
Also, what does that get you when you already have someone that's being very combative and you're not having the conversation at a bar, you are lights, camera, action.
But also, that approach, there's no way, with the approach that she took, that you don't hear with clarity what NeNe is really saying. She's not saying it because T.S. is being combative or defensive or argumentative. She's not saying it because it's a reaction to something.
T.S. let her hang herself, is what she did.
Exactly. She laid the trap right on out. Said, if you step here, and that's what she did. So I am curious. Has NeNe ever expressed that before on any of the?
Not that I know.
Right? Because gay men love.
Yeah, she's always been rallying for the gays and yada yada yada. But also, a lot of straight women do not view trans women and gay people in the same zeitgeist until a straight man has has affection for a trans woman, and then he's gay. Yes.
By their logic.
By their logic, exactly.
By their flawed logic, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean...
So, no, she's not been on record being transphobic like she was.
But I do see exactly what you're saying about how you can be very cozy with the gays. And then...
Because a lot of us are accessories. I mean, think of it, especially entertainment. We are the hairstylist and the makeup artist and the creative directors. And in her case, the producers that she was working with were all gay. So...
friends that are going to take you out and show you a good time. Exactly. And yet, there's other part of the community, like bisexuals.
Yes.
Bisexual men, I know, get the exact same sort of, you're gay. No, they're bisexual.
Exactly. That's why the term exists.
Yeah, so that does track, I guess. It just, I don't know. I have such a hard time. I know there are separate issues within our community, but
Yeah,
I have a hard time separating us as people because we're
same.
all dealing with the same
Exactly.
types of,
Uh-huh.
prejudices
Hmm.
and stereotypes and all that stuff. So I
Yeah, a
just
lot
feel
of
like
things overlap.
we're all like supposed to be brothers and sisters.
Yeah, but yeah, the comment about, but you still have your parts. And she's like, yeah, and everyone knows that. I have not been shy about that. Also, calling them parts is also just extremely derogatory. And
It is
then,
also just time to stop talking about other people's
thank you.
genitals. Like, why are we doing this?
Thank you. And
Please stop immediately. I don't
public
really
service announcement.
need.
Yeah. And the biggest thing that pissed me off, and a lot of other people off, was just, well, I don't want that. If I'm dating a man, like, I won't be with him if he's been with you. As it's like, what? Which is
The silence is
so
deafening because
tacky,
not only is
and
it tacky, it's degrading
it's
because she
extremely
clearly
degrading
views her as,
as a subhuman
yeah, as
compared
though
to
they would
her.
be like have that on them somehow, or like,
Yes. One of my followers, amazing, amazing lesbian, black, awesome author, artist. She was like, because there were a lot of black women, and I'm the black one, so don't come after Wes about this. There are a lot of women who were just like, well, Nene can like what she likes and have her preferences. And I first said, okay, well, what you want isn't necessarily what you're gonna get, sweetheart. And that's exactly what TS said. It's like there's a chance you've been with
Mhm.
people or with someone.
Also, who
And
the
also
fuck
and
are
also
you to
this
tell someone what their sexual proclivities are and
exactly,
whether
and
or
their
not you'll be with them
past.
because of that?
Yes, like
Go
also this is
away.
why there are a lot of DL men
Hmm.
because of women's reactions to things like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, a woman, I said this 1,000 times before, a woman can go off in college and even have a lesbian relationship, but then go off and then marry a man and have 3 kids and a picket fence, and she's never considered a lesbian.
Yeah.
A straight man can experiment with anything without just being labeled gay, and that's from the gays and the straight people. It's not just a straight situation, because the gays do it too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, but my follower, she was like, okay, so black women, because she's black. She's like, okay, so black women. So the ones that are, defending Nene, how would you feel if a white woman said that she would never date a black man, if he had ever been with black women? Would you not feel like they're saying that you are beneath them and unworthy and disgusting, and
Tainted them in some
yes,
way.
literally, they are tainted, and you would never touch them. Oh no, because how dare you be with another black woman?
Because the reaction is the man is actually the conduit,
Mm-hmm.
right? The reaction isn't to the man. The
Mhm.
reaction is to the
Exactly.
trans person
It
that
is
he's
a
with, or the trans woman
thinly
that he's with, or man, or
veiled
whatever it
guys
is.
for their
It's that
transphobic thinking.
right. They're just the conduit for that.
Yep.
They're take them out of the middle.
Yep, you're saying you're less than me, and I think it's
Mhm.
disgusting if anyone would ever even look at you and then dare, try to even approach me. That's exactly what it says in black and white. So, yeah, she started up that conversation like, yeah, and I was just clapping from the side. I'm like, you go, girl. Good job. Tell them. And it's the truth. Sometimes you have to rephrase things and make people shut the fuck up and think about how stupid and how bigoted you sound.
You know what though? People are, especially straight people, are really fucking weird about body count and past
Yes.
experiences and things that you might, fantasize about
Uh-huh.
or whatever, and really impacts them in
Yeah.
some kind of way, because I have seen, and it's men too, certainly, but I've seen many women
Uh-huh.
really relate how, if a guy is into this or likes this or does this, like
Mhm.
that's disgusting.
And how
this, that, and the
weird of
other.
a
Like,
control
ooh, he
freak
watches
are
he
you?
watches porn, he looks at other girls.
Yes.
That one.
Oh my God, yes.
That one. Ooh.
That's a hot topic in the
Wow.
straight community. Oh my goodness.
Well, he's dating me, so he doesn't need to be looking at porn. You don't need to tell him what to
It's
look
so
at.
narcissistic. Like, oh.
Yeah, no.
Mm-mm.
No.
Luckily, not
fucking
all
weird to
straight
me.
women
No.
have had the same reaction that Nini's had. Because one of my
Yeah.
favorite YouTubers, It's Rock, shout out to her. She's the one that just sits in her car on her lunch
Mhm.
break, and she works for the government, just does a little recaps and stuff. She recapped, and she said, "You know what?" She's like, "I have like some gay friends now, and I've learned a lot, you know." And I could see myself being ignorant about some things when I was like in my 20s. She's like, "But honey, I'm about to be in my 50s, and you live and you learn."
Yeah.
And she's like, I could see 20-year-old me being like, "Oh my God, I would never date a guy if he ever." She's like, leave the trans part out of it. If he's ever like been with a man. She's all, but now I'm like, everyone has a past.
Mhm.
And I don't need to know about your past.
At this
and as long as you're
point-
treating me fine in our present,
Yeah.
and if we're not in an open relationship and that's just your past, I don't give a shit.
That's called being secure.
Exactly.
When you are someone who is not secure in yourself, suddenly someone else having a life
Mhm.
outside of you is terrifying
Yep.
because you need all this fucking validation.
Yep, child.
Now,
It was.
I will admit it was a passing thought. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But many years ago, yeah, when I was much younger, and just in my mind, I was like, okay, so like gay and lesbians and bisexuals. I was like, I get that they're part of our community, but what makes
Yeah.
trans people part of our community? Because the ones that I had,
Uh-huh.
very limited ignorance,
Yeah.
on my part, but just my understanding was like, in my brain at the time, was like, well, you're not a gay man, you're a trans woman, and then you date straight men.
Yeah.
So you're straight.
Yeah.
And it did, again, very quickly
You learned. And you grow
evolved
and
to
you
other
adapt.
methodologies of thinking and inclusion and acceptance, of course, but also just like, I certainly was like,
Yeah.
questioned that, or was like, oh, are they part of us? Or like,
Yeah.
it's different? Like, kind of othering
Uh-huh.
when
Yeah.
when I was just, naive.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. He needs too goddamn old to be fucking naive and too exposed to everything. And in Atlanta, of all places, girl. Like, come on. But also, Atlanta is still the South, and Southerners, and I'm saying this from experience, are very closed-minded to things that they want to be closed-minded to, and opening up those viewpoints is
And yet,
very
what's
difficult
so
sometimes.
hilarious to me is Southern culture is so fucking gay.
Literally.
It is so over the top.
Especially in Atlanta.
It's so theatrical.
on.
Everything is big.
Yes.
Everything is just so
The hair, the makeup, the booze, the dresses, the hats.
Yeah,
Everything's-
the pomp and circumstance,
Yes.
and oh my god, it's so gay.
Yes.
Cowboy
But-
hats and boots. You guys
Right,
have your own
come on.
costumes. Like, come on.
Those are typically men in heels. Think about it. Have you seen a heel on a cowboy boot?
Click
You
bitch.
are in slightly above a kitten heel with that.
Mhm.
That is a thick wedge
That is for sure. With a pointed toe.
with a pointed toe and calf high. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah.
very honest with ourselves here.
Mm-mm-mm. You know something else gay? Actually,
Besides us.
besides us. Something that was gay that was watered down. So I already knew going into the film Elio, what I would still say go see
Oh,
because
okay.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
But what I already knew going into it was that the original director that had been with it got moved to something else, and they brought in 2 other directors.
Okay.
But the reason
2
for
to
that
replace 1?
was because I think it's a team, perhaps.
Oh, gotcha.
Didn't do a deep dive into this, but Elio was supposed to be a coming out story.
Oh.
Pixar squashed that and put the director, who is gay, onto another film, and then they got the other directors in, who, that made Elio eventually what it ended up with. Originally, as well, the aunt in the movie was supposed to be Elio's mother, and was going to be voiced by America Ferrera.
Oh,
But she left when they got rid of the original director.
good for her.
Because apparently also they reduced some of the Latino aspects of.
Good for her for standing her ground, damn it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know any of that. I really didn't know anything about the movie.
They did such a shit job of promoting
Besides
it.
the fabulous bus stop promotion here. That is the one thing I love about living here in this area in particular. And this sounds crazy for anyone that has not been here or seen this. Oh, the movie promos and TV promos on the bus stops here are next fucking level.
They're crashing through the billboards.
They are. There's movement.
Yeah, there was snow coming out of one.
Yes, snow was just like
far back.
yes. I don't even remember what the hell that was even for. But there was snow coming out of one. The alien ones
that was
were
like some Hallmark thing.
Yes, there's full on. This one you can see the
they
title.
All go out. They all go
yes.
out. Remember when so right on Sunset up here. Y'all try to paint a picture for you. So Sunset Boulevard, of course, has all the big billboards, but it's not just that one little area.
Yeah.
They're all up and down Sunset. But there was that, I think it was a Fiesta Cantina that was there that closed down.
Yes.
And then when Jennifer Lopez's...
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That whole building now is used for some elaborate ass promotion.
They had the spaceship from Atlas crashing into the roof. Broken shit and all. As a promotion for that.
Yep. There was, when you were gone to Mexico, there was some airplane film on Netflix was happening, and they had it was like a pyramid of luggage stacked on the roof, and then the sign on top. Oh yeah, they go all out at the most random spots here. I love it. Remember the Lego movie one at the bus stops? There's a full-on Lego unicorn. Yes, this happened.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, but I don't appreciate Pixar watering down, just removing any queer references to the character.
That's obnoxious.
What's interesting, though, like no spoiler for the movie, but the kid did seem kind of gay.
Just let it be. Oh my god.
We will make our own canon, and Elio's gay.
Oh my god, did you see, speaking of animation, like I haven't watched a lot of recent animation, especially like big movies. I'm just like, but did you see The Wild Robot?
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh my god, okay, so no spoilers, because I just saw like a billboard somewhere, and I was like, oh, that looks like I might want to see it. I don't know what the fuck it's about. And I read a little synopsis, and I'm like, I'll watch it.
It's like, what, The Lost Robot?
The Wild Robot.
The Wild Robot, that's right.
Basically, it's about this robot that crashes down in a forest. And basically, and this is not a spoiler, I think this is like actually in the trailer, but like, it's supposed to be eliminating the animals and stuff so this company can build things. So, but Lupita Nyong'o is the voice of the robot. I found out, I went in blind, not really knowing much more besides that. I didn't look at the cast. Great voice acting. When I tell you, and this is a shock coming from me, I cried 3 times. Marcos woke up because he had his binky, which is his giant bong that he falls asleep with, while we were trying to watch it. So we had eaten, and we were just in bed, and yes, he literally will fall asleep, just cuddling his bong when he's not cuddling me. And I'm like, what? And he woke up, and he was like, babe, are you crying? I'm like, oh my god, yes, this is so beautiful.
I'm crying at the robot.
It's the sweetest fucking story. It's about this bird that was kicked out of its nest because it was a runt. And birds do that.
Yeah.
If they're not strong enough, they can't
You've given me enough information.
Yes.
And
it takes on this robot as its mother.
Oh my god.
And it's this, oh my god, it was just... And there's no songs or anything like that. It's a straightforward movie. But, 3 fucking times I cried. That is a record for me, because I've only cried like once in like 2 or 3 different movies ever in my life. So that is an accomplishment for me to get that emotional.
That's definitely on
I
my
say
list.
highly recommended. Watch it.
Yeah, it's on my list for sure.
Yes,
I was
you will not be disappointed.
finishing up
Break out the tissues.
Yeah.
Even if, and this is from me that had his tear ducts removed at age 5. They somehow repaired themselves, and they were just leaking and leaking and leaking. And it's funny, and it's just like, it is beautifully animated. It was just well done all around, and it didn't even do that well. And this is what pisses me off, because it's like we keep screaming, stop doing all these remakes and reboots,
Yes,
and
we
blah,
want
blah, blah.
original stories.
But then we get them, and then y'all don't fucking support them.
That is how I feel about the recommendation that I have this week, I think also on Netflix, is Gentry Chow versus the Underworld.
The fuck is that?
It's an entire 13-part animated series featuring the voice of Ali Wong as Gentry Chu.
I love Ali Wong.
And it is about this girl who basically like finds out that she has spiritual powers.
That sounds fun.
The animation's really cute. The story is like really deep. There's like this little love triangle that goes on. There's the relationship with these issues with her and her grandma and her, parents and friends and like all that stuff. So it gets really tangled with their who's telling who what, who's telling who the real story, what's actually going on. Then there's of course like main antagonist who's like this evil demonic sorcerer guy who like wants her soul. It is really well done, really, really cute, and I know I'm gonna have to clip this part out, but I'm gonna play you some of
we don't
the
want the FCC
music.
or Jeremy Renner on our asses again.
Yeah, just from the
I'm still convinced
previous times we've almost been.
I'm telling you, I'm still convinced that he has that he is a part-time employee when he's not acting with the FCC.
I'm telling you. Well, so we'll cut this part out. Okay, hold on.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Right?
Okay, I'm sold. I'm sold.
Literally just for that.
This is now the movie recommendation portion of the show, by the way.
So it's a cute show, but even if you don't end up watching the whole series, you have to check out the soundtrack to Gentry Chow versus the Underworld. It is so. There's like 2 discs. It is so
fuck yeah!
good. It's full.
I love it.
I think every episode has
just a bunch of songs.
Yeah, like song. When they're doing the chase scenes. And shit like that. So,
I love it.
Highly recommended.
Oh my gosh. Well, my last recommendation, which I just don't understand how people aren't getting this from this movie. So, via my fun little app that I have, that will again remain nameless, I watched Megan 2.0, and I'm going to see it in theaters at some point in time before it leaves.
Yeah.
And it's doing slightly less than like the first one, but again, the first one was released in, I think, January, February, which is like dead time, so there's no competition. This one was released in summer, where everything is out right now, so
there are so many movies coming out.
Yes,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. This is summer blockbuster time,
right?
So that was just to be expected. But I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh my god, this is the worst horror movie like that I've seen. Don't bother." Blah blah. I'm like, okay, did y'all see the same trailers that I did? Because they made a clear genre switch.
Yes.
It was clear the first one was going to be a horror mixed with comedy.
This is sci-fi comedy.
It was blatantly clear this is a sci-fi action comedy from the fucking trailer. So where did you even think that this was going to be a horror movie? In any aspect. There's a training sequence in the fucking trailer, for God's sake. There is a villain that is another android. There's an infiltration scene.
Yeah, the trailer gave a lot away, but I also feel like people still want a movie to always stay in its lane, so to speak. Like,
this is
start off
definitely a blatant genre.
Horror film.
But what I hate is when movies misrepresent themselves and what they are going to be, and then you're like, what the fuck is this? This let you know what the hell it was. So it's like, well, how are y'all confused?
It let me know really the entire story in the trailer, which is why I wasn't very excited to see it. I think the trailer could have been much more.
Did you see it or no?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, because there's still more stuff
I'm sure there
going
is,
on.
but the trailer was like, I'm getting a lot of information. This is more than Act 1.
Yeah. That just kind of scratches the surface. There's a lot of
Okay.
twists and turns that do happen.
We'll see.
But it was highly entertaining. And campy as hell. The jokes, every single one of them landed. There were twists and turns. The action scenes were great. It was great. It really was. I mean, hell, the last one kind of ended up that way because the bitch fucking hotwired a fucking luxury car and drove off into it and got into a high-speed chase. It was leaning already into that situation at the end of the last movie. But it was just...
I didn't really feel like the last movie was a horror movie.
No. Like, it was...
I mean, it had those elements.
It was just
'cause it's a
campy.
killer robot. But
Yeah. It was campy.
I think it's because people likened it to Chucky.
Yes.
When it wasn't like that at all.
No, not at all. No. It was more like Chucky now than Chucky when the first couple of movies were strictly like a killer doll and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it was that, but yeah, I was highly entertained. Everything worked perfectly for me, perfect length. You know me about my lengths and movies that are way too long, and I wouldn't have cut anything out. There were no dead spots for me. It all moved along at a very swift pace. And yeah, I was still cracking up. There were some great jokes involved in there. So stop being confused about these. Again, are you going to be pissed off because something said it was going to be something and then you go to the theater and spend your money and then it's not? Or are you actually going to use your brain and pay attention to the fucking trailers that are telling you what genre this movie is and then know what you're going into? Because it never, ever gave horror movie in this new trailer.
I think that's fair. They clearly also leaned into. They were at every fucking Pride. The Megans were in every parade.
You know what's funny? Someone complained. They were like, "I don't see why they didn't promote this like for the community because they the marketing was, but they weren't in any prize." I'm like, "Oh, honey, we had a troop of Megans.
They were everywhere
doing choreography.
Yes,
and I saw videos everywhere of 25 Megans with one in like the new like armor.
Yeah,
like." Dancing to Britney Spears. They were dancing to Britney with Megan Thee Stallion, haunting her in a hotel room in a promo. I'm like, they lean to the gays.
Yeah.
The whole community.
They sure did.
Which Megan is a part of, mind you. Before anyone gets in there, wait a minute. No. She's a loud, proud bisexual, just like Cardi B.
The bisexual robot. Well, if you're standing Megan, are you up for another round of AI-generated influencers?
Oh, God, we touched on this last week. What now?
Instagram is bringing them back.
Why? And for what?
I don't know. Probably just to see what they can get away with.
It's so weird.
So I don't know if this will. So the last time they tried this flop, it was AI generated influencers who were already influencers.
Yeah.
So it was like, here's your AI copy of
you,
the Jenners or whatever, and it was like, well, they already look like an AI copy. So
yeah,
great. You haven't really
broken the mold there.
No, but yeah, I guess people could do their own too. So that didn't do very well. That kind of flopped because again, like no one's following the Jenner girls because they have something insightful to say
at all.
So AI generated.
A lot of it is just hate watching.
A lot of it's AI generated to begin with. But
that part.
But yeah, just like who cares? And now I'm presuming it's going to be more driven towards like whatever the trends are in terms
everything else.
Right, like we saw that.
Yeah, the weird mukbang videos that were very convincing, which is
until
very
she ate the chicken bone.
And yes, exactly.
But yeah, so now we're gonna get what videos of AI videos depicting someone eating, or AI videos of probably some prank or some trend or whatever.
It's weird.
I did think of the term though from last week. It's called the dead web. When
Oh.
you have, dead web is when you have AI generated content. If I set something on my, and I can do this now, if I set something on my Instagram specifically for people that I follow to like
Uh-huh.
or comment on their video, it would do that automatically for me. I don't even need to sign in. So you get to a point of the dead web where no one's really, all of it's fake.
Yeah.
It's just completely fake. The videos are fake, the likes are fake, the comments are fake, everything's.
Robots talking
It's
to
the
robots.
Matrix!
Literally robots talking to robots.
Okay. So should we just get offline then?
Uh,
So do we have to go outside?
right. Oh no, God forbid. Meet actual people? Actual flesh bags, as Megan calls them. Or calls us, I should
They
say.
are going to keep pushing this again and again and again until some form of it
Catches
is
on.
acceptable to people and it catches on. My guess
And can make money.
and can make money.
Because YouTube is already demonetized any AI accounts. So you can upload the content all you like to, but they're like, no, you're not getting paid from it.
Right.
Because you're not creating anything. You're typing in prompts, literally.
Instagram doesn't care about that because all Instagram cares about is engagement
Yep.
and keeping people's eyes locked into Instagram. So they don't really care if it's good or bad content or real or
Come on,
or
Mark, whatever your name is. Does he still own it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Get it together. Good Lord. Well, speaking... Well, now we have some good news that we're not going to bitch about. And you'll like it. It's some Buffy news. Did you hear about this?
Yay! I've been following the Buffy stuff. Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
well, Charisma Carpenter is starting a rewatch of her reacting to old episodes of Buffy, which I think is cute. Because I like when people watch their old work and, will comment on things that they, remember about this episode or yada, yada, yada. But also, Sarah Michelle Gellar is getting her star on the Walk of Fame.
Oh, she ponied up the money.
Right? I don't think she did because it was a surprise to her.
Oh, it's probably like a fan. I mean, somebody paid for it.
Yeah, someone paid for it. Yeah, you have to. Yes. But then that's the thing. Like, you have to submit and then you have to have them be like, okay, and then you have to pay.
Right.
And I think you have to pay to even submit.
I'm sure she was aware of the campaign to get her.
Yeah, but she got it.
I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
She should, do it.
Yeah, because there's a video of her, and then it was really sweet because she held up a little mini plaque of Freddie's father. It's like, oh, now I can join the legacy with my father-in-law. He's been passed away for many, many years before they even got, knew each other and were married. But yeah, so that was really, really sweet. So I was like, yay, good for her.
I heard as well that she wanted to get as many of the original cast members, whether their characters were alive or dead, back into the series, which she didn't really elaborate on. It was just like a pull quote that I saw, and I don't think she really got into detail about it. But I thought it immediately made me think, instead of bringing back the dead characters, that they could... Look, it's been a while. They could just play a new character, and they would look different enough that we as fans would recognize them as their original character. But now, just like a Ryan Murphy situation, just cast them in a new...
Exactly.
Just bring them in as a new character.
Yes.
So not sure if that's what they're going to do, or they're going to try to resurrect all the dead characters, which I'm not quite as in alignment with, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no.
I feel like
just bring them on someone else.
If a character had their arc and then they,
yeah,
I know a lot of people would want to bring Anya back and all that stuff, but although I feel like maybe she did come back in the comics or something, because Spike came back in the comics.
Yeah.
Oh.
But someone else.
I just every time someone dies, and is resurrected, I feel like it cheapens the original storyline, the impact of that storyline in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I remember as a kid, reading classic comics, and it was the big, shocker, even still resonating through when I was a kid, was when Gwen Stacy died in the Spider-Man comic book. And granted, that was, pretty sure that was before my time. I'm not that old. When did Gwen Stacy die in the Spider-Man comic books? Anyway, if you read that whole story, oh yeah, that was 1973. So, anyways, yeah, well, way before my time. If you had read that story, it had so much impact because at the time, and they hadn't really killed off major characters like that in comic books. They were around forever. They've been around since World War II, like all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there was the Gwen Stacy clone. And then, she had the memories of the original because some professor was obsessed with her. And, like, they just kind of tried to, like, resurrect and bring her back and do all this shit. And it was just like... I just really felt it, even as a fucking kid. I was like, this really just... takes away from the original story, that impact, because you're just going to bring this character back. So I don't know. I don't like it.
Right. But other Hollywood Walk of Fame news: Keith David, and if you don't know who he is, Google him. He's literally been film, TV, and the voice actor of generations. I mean, he was the voice of animated Black Panther. He was the voice of the lead in Gargoyles. He has been in numerous Disney movies, Princess and the Frog, Lion King, sequels, and TV shows. If you see him, you'll recognize him. He's been in literally fucking everything. He also got a star, and his wife was like, hey, let's just watch this and see who got a star. And I'm just going to play for you. We can cut this out, but his reaction is adorable.
Cute.
Just shocked. Like 35 years in the industry, consistently working. He's a black Jennifer Lewis, like black male Jennifer Lewis. And finally getting his recognition.
I still find it hard to believe that they're totally unaware that they're going to get a star, but he, if anyone, is deserving.
Yes, especially because he's mainly just been doing voice acting for the bulk of the last 20 years. And typically those people are kind of extremely overlooked.
That is very true.
Even if they've had a long-lasting career in that industry. But yeah, video games, he's extremely popular in. And again, you probably don't even know what he looks like, but you've heard his voice, and something that you've been highly familiar with throughout your life. So good for him, and good for her.
I mean, look, it's a tradition, it's a promotional thing, it's all this stuff, right? But at the same time, even though plenty of people have done it in the history of Hollywood, when you really consider the statistical chances of having a steady career, number one, having an impactful career, because someone like that, like Keith David, he might not have the name recognition of someone like Sarah Michelle Gellar, aka Mother, aka Buffy.
Yes,
but the impact that he had, I mean, my God, if you grew up with Gargoyles, like
the collage of characters, just animated, not even considering video games.
Oh yeah.
It's just insane.
Yes.
It's like pixelated to that point because it's like, who has a deep voice? Any deep voiced, menacing kind of character you've ever heard is him.
And he was on Community too.
Yeah.
That I think it's not a terrible, even though I'm making fun of them having to pay for it, it's not a terrible tradition because that is quite a fucking accomplishment.
Oh, definitely.
To have that sort of, and obviously, Sarah Michelle Gellar as well. Like, she's done many, many things. I think she obviously gets most credited.
Yes,
with Buffy.
100%.
But it's almost like people forget.
They do.
SMG was the
The thing.
girl. Like, she was a fucking Scooby. Cruel Intentions.
Yes.
Stop.
Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, she was that girl.
Literally.
Movies, TV.
This new generation, I know we sound like we're old men yelling at the clouds, but this new generation really likes to rewrite history and it's
Y'all
funny
don't
because you have so
understand.
many resources just to Google what someone's done.
Right.
There was discourse about Brandy the other day, and it's like,
Stop.
Brandy was the it girl in the 90s. She had her own television show, Barbie Dolls, was a literal Disney princess. Like,
She was Cinderella. She had
yes, huge music career.
huge musical career. Oh my god.
Was everywhere all at once for a
Literally.
full fucking over 10 years.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just so strange reading comments.
And now it's
things.
just like, oh, that girl from The Boy is
Yeah.
Mine. Like, what?
It's like, no, it's like that's Brandy Norwood. Like,
Excuse me. Yeah. So I think it is like paid for or not, it definitely is cool that they're getting that kind of recognition.
Yeah.
I know that there's a ton of people that would love to have that. And I don't know why my mind jumped to this. I think because I was just watching a podcast about this where so many people, obviously there are plenty of people who really do have the talent and do have the skills,
Mhm.
behind them to where they certainly could be successful in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But then there are the delusional motherfuckers.
So almost every single influencer you come in contact with?
Not even that. Like how many times have you met a musician who, when you hear their songs, you're like, ears try to fold in on themselves. There's no rhythm. There's no like
all the
chorus,
songs thanks to TikTok are 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
It's not even that. They're not even good enough for TikTok.
No,
like, there's so many people out there who are like, yeah, this is, I'm a musician, blah, blah, and I don't know what they're recording on or how they're putting it together. I know you can use GarageBand on your phone and make a decent track. It is not good. It is not good. And I feel that also you don't see it as much because they don't have an MP3 to send you, but people who think they're going to be a big, big actor. What have you been in? Nothing. What's your training? None. What have you auditioned for? Nothing. They think...
Sorry, I'm like literally like about to laugh.
I choked Richie up.
You literally.
Because you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
The people who think they're going to walk through life, meet some director, and get cast as the star of some big budget fucking Hollywood movie, and be like, which is, first of all, what's the roadmap for that?
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't exist. Unless you're like Daniel Radcliffe for the very first Harry Potter. And at this point, as an adult, you have passed that milestone. That's not gonna happen to you. But there's not a huge blueprint for that, right? Like, it doesn't really happen that way. You have to actually be doing stuff. You have to be actively doing it.
Exactly.
And there's so many people who think,
I'm telling you,
they're just going to.
That's why I say
move here.
That's
and
exactly
why. Be a big model. Oh, I'm going to be a model. I'm a model.
About
Where
all
are your
transplants?
Where's your photos at?
Here,
where's your card? Where's your Zed card? Where's your headshot?
That live here are
resume?
ones in small town Idaho that come here and think they're going to be discovered in 3 months and be a millionaire in 7, and then they are moving up because they can no longer afford to live here, and they have not made it yet because they've not put the work in.
That's the thing, and not only is it putting the work into, and I'll say this about writers. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, writers. I love you, because I consider myself first and foremost always as a writer, despite my many other talents. Sometimes it's not good. It's not a good script. It's not a good idea. You could do better. You could work a little harder on that.
Rework it.
Rewrite it. Because it's not good.
A lot of things that seem to be overnight have been in the work for a decade.
And not only that, but it's also very rare for like I said, to come up with something on that like first try. You got to try a few times.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Like you have to do a few things. You had an idea that didn't quite pan out. Okay, you move to the next idea. Oh, that one was better. You had the structure was better. This was better. You move on to something else.
The Ben Affleck, Matt Damon script pitches are 1 in a million from getting picked up and then getting success from it.
And even then, when you hear them talk about it, they were willing to scrap everything they had done.
Yep.
And rewrite and rebuild. I just actually was watching another podcast with Sylvester Stallone, who wrote Rocky, and they were initially going to buy the script from him for at the time a lot of money, like $350,000. And he was like, "No, I want to star in it. You're not going to cast someone else." And they're like, "Who the fuck are you? You're like you're not a star. We could put whoever they're going to put it."
Yeah.
And then finally, they were like, "Well, we'll let you do it, but there's all these like restrictions, all this stuff, like blah blah blah," and like they could fire him at any time, or that they could, if they felt like it wasn't going well, they could restrict the funds and like only have a cap of, I think it was 900,000. I don't know why I'm remembering these numbers.
Right? Those are very specific.
I literally just saw it today, and then obviously the movie went on to win a fucking Oscar. But they asked him like, how long did it take you to write that movie? And he's like, well, that's not the thing. I wrote the movie in 3 days, but 90% of that was crap. I had to rewrite it 25 more times. The idea was there, the premise was there, what have you, but like, I wrote it in 3 days. Okay, you can write it. I can sit down and write a script right now, but it doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people get so married to their ideas because that's the thing that they wrote down one night, and that's like they're really stuck on that.
Yeah. You've got to come out of it sometimes.
Yeah.
'Tis true. 'Tis very, very true. Oh my God. So I don't know how your fucking feed has been, but Jesus Christ, for a show that I've never watched before and knew very little about up until the other day, all I've been seeing is a bunch of shit about Love Island. And to the point to where everyone's noticing, and some people are like, "Oh my God, how do I stop this show?" They're not even mentioning the name.
Is it this the most popular reality show right now or something?
It is, and also someone was like, "Look, I love that people are interested in things, and I never want to be a Debbie Downer for things that I'm just maybe not into. But this is a goddamn show. Fucking come on like every goddamn day or what?" And we all knew what they were talking about. And sure enough, they're like, "Actually, it comes on 6 days a week. But you're in luck because it's Wednesday, and that's the one day that it doesn't come on." Well, then
I've seen a lot of clips actually, and I don't watch any reality shows. They're
only ones
somehow it's gotten into everyone's algorithm.
Because everyone's watching it and talking about it nonstop for that reason as well. I have no desire to watch it. I guess it's very risque. A lot of drama happens. Whatever. I can do my housewives and some house and car interior porn and some fashion stuff. I can deal with that. I don't care about a bunch of nobodies on an island being tempted by someone else's attractiveness and then getting pissed off that someone is hooking up with someone else the next week. I live in WeHo. That is literally, I can go outside right now, go to the Abbey, and see that happening in real life. Don't care.
Just text my friend group and see who's
literally
going through that right now.
Stereotypical gay drama. But this person, and I don't know if he was on the show, worked for the show, what it was, he was like, yeah, so, like, everyone's all about Love Island, blah, 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 blah. And then being like, oh, why, are these people, like, crashing out and blah, 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 and, getting mad at who the villain is for this season and all this stuff. And they're like, well, let me give you a little bit of insight. You know what happens after the audition? You got to block off your time in case you get a phone call, and you have 48 hours to prepare. 48 hours to pack your clothes and your whole life, and you're filming for like 1 or 2 months. Not only that, and this is the standard, he's like, you have your phone. He's like, these people don't realize that we fucking have been bombing a whole fucking other country. They have no idea what's going on in the outside world. They don't know if their relatives died. They don't know if anything's going on. He's like, not only that, but they actually have a bucket of clothes if you didn't have enough outfits that you were basically fighting over to wear. Yes!
They're all wearing bikinis anyway.
They're like, and then there are no clocks. You don't know what day it is, what time of the day it is, how long you've been anywhere, because after a couple of days, just in general, you stop counting. And you don't know when you're on an island.
Psychological warfare.
Yeah, so he's like, and then you're on an island, and they're not really telling you where the island is specifically.
What?
So you're trying to figure out time zones and stuff. So you're really fucked up in the head. And they're pitting you against each other because that's what producers do, and that's just like kind of standard on any reality show. He's like,
how close are we to the Hunger Games?
That's exactly what he was making it sound like.
Because
and then
there is no way I'm signing a contract. That's
No.
like, by the way, you have 48 hours to get your shit. You don't know where you're going. You will not know what time it is.
I got offered to go on that damn Lindsay Lohan fucking reality show out of nowhere from my friend that does casting, but I had to literally block off 3 weeks of my time immediately, be ready to go in 36 hours because someone dropped out. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. This is too stressful. And then to be on camera and not knowing what I'm getting myself into, like, a free trip to Greece sounded great at the time, but not great at the time for me to possibly lose my job or put them in jeopardy, be gone for 3 weeks with a bunch of strangers that I'm probably going to be fighting with or something, just for some screen time and some memes probably coming out of me because my mouth is lethal. And so is my face when I'm upset. But I'm like, no! So I said no. No, I'm not doing that. Don't copy the paycheck as, like, no. Like, that's too much disruption of my personal being for me to even do that. But these people do that, and then he said, like, after that, he was like, but, you guys have a great day, but this is what's going on. He's like, oh, so the editing. Pay attention to the editing. He's like, I just watched an episode, and they have really shoddy editing because they're trying to put out all this content immediately that no one's really checking for continuity. He's all, there's literally a girl that's arguing with one girl that you guys have made the villain of this season, but if you pay attention, in one fucking scene when she's yelling at the girl, she has braids in the back of her head, and then in the next scene where she's yelling at her, they're gone. So they are literally frankenbiting the hell out of the show to clearly have you guys go after people, and then once they're done with being completely psychologically manipulated, they are to return home to you guys literally doxing them and bullying them and all of these things. So maybe keep that in mind the next time you're watching your favorite show. Well, then that video got taken down. So he came back and he posted the email.
From
Peacock / NBC Universal. He said, I'm not a man with a lot of money, but I do know some things about the industry from being in it, and I'm not going to say who I was affiliated with, blah, 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 blah. He's all, but these emails are very serious, and they did take my video down, and, as a smart man that, doesn't want to ruffle any feathers in the industry, what I have to do is double down. Yeah. So this is what's going on in this show. I'm going to keep this quiet on the last one, but let's talk about
That's what I'm saying. How could they even sue him?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't sign an NDA.
Right. He was like, let's talk about the multiple suicides that have come from this show. Oh, yes. And he lists with them. Every year since 2018, there's been someone that has committed suicide that has come off of that goddamn show for multiple reasons. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say, I can't talk about this anymore. He's like, I'm going to double the fuck down. He's also, let's just spill some more tea. Yeah, they don't publicize all the suicides that have happened, but they're easily Googleable. And he put literally the list of people. He put in Love Island suicides. It's 2018, 2019, 2020. It's an alarming rate for a show. Insane. One person overdosed, and then 20 days later, their spouse also off themselves.
What are they doing to these people on this show?
What he said in the first video that they got taken down, that it's psychological warfare. There's one thing like Big Brother, surrender your phones. Yeah, no clocks. That's the same psychological fucking bullshit they pull in Vegas. 'Cause everything's dark all the time. You don't
Right.
know what time of day it is. It's
They're
all
pumping in oxygen into the
literally.
casinos.
But this is a different situation. Like, this is a whole other level of
And I'm sure
reality
there's a lot
torture.
of alcohol involved.
Of course, they're force feeding
and,
those things.
you know.
Yes, but yeah,
I've seen a lot on it, thankfully, only because I follow someone named Brentley, whose song was featured on the show. And he is a gay artist who has his story is that I think actually it was this song that's been on Love Island that record industry wanted to, whatever label wanted to just buy it from him and give it to somebody and have them do it. And he was like, "No, I'm not just selling you the song. It's my song. If
Yeah.
you're gonna buy the song,
You're giving me
singing
royalties.
it. Like
Yes.
I'm on it. Like
yes,
it's my
and you're
song.
gonna pay me my residuals
You're
for every
not
time you air
just
this goddamn
giving it
show.
to someone else." So this is just shows you like he, obviously kept the song and now it's on this show. So he's getting all of
Good.
he's getting all of it because he's not with a label. I don't
Yeah.
Had they just signed him and put him on the label and
Exactly.
released his song, they would be getting some of that money. But yeah, so that's how I've mainly heard of it. So I didn't realize like all that shit was going on. I thought it was just, I don't know, a dating show in the sand.
Yeah, no, there's this whole, but I just loved his second video. So yeah, guys, so I got this email. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to double down and give you more tea.
Got them to well, I can believe they got them to take it down, but usually they'll put stuff back up if there's no copyright infringement or
I mean, it's also stupid because by then everyone's already screen recorded the goddamn video anyways. The second
proliferated
something
around the web.
is up on the internet, it's there forever. You can have someone take something down, and someone's gonna be retweeting it,
somewhere
reposting it. But yeah, I was so good for that man for not bowing down to the goddamn industry and holding his fucking foot to the fire.
I have two more things.
I only have one more thing, so that's perfect.
Oh. What's your thing, Diddy?
No, I actually wasn't going to talk about that because I figured you were going to.
Oh, yeah.
No, mine is actually some more fun gay news. So I don't know if you heard, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. But Noah's Ark, beloved old logo show.
Yes.
Yes, that also had a movie to wrap things up. That pop-up on logo, and that was a thing before they went under. And then everyone sold their soul to, Drag Race and VH1. They have a new movie out on Paramount Plus.
I heard that.
It just came out maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks ago or so. And I heard it's really good. I haven't seen it yet.
I did hear that, but I feel it's not getting the...
Only so much you can do without a big
But it's so weird because it had
situation.
such a fan base. I think
Yes.
people would be talking about it and it would be kind of, I don't know, buzzing or whatever. But
It's mostly just the cast. And Patrick, the creator and director, I've been promoting it. But,
Y'all have to support these shows.
Exactly.
You hounded them for years.
Yes. I think also
bringing
a
the show
big
back.
part of it has to do with there's so many fucking streaming networks now that some people, for cost effectiveness alone, you can't have 16 fucking apps to watch one thing or two things.
That is true.
At
Especially
$20
when they
a month,
keep bumping it up.
it's more expensive than cable used to be.
$25, $28. This one's $32.
We've come full circle now where it's cheaper to have cable and a DVR and set your timer to watch shit than it is to have all these fucking streaming networks.
I know a lot of people that bounce around.
Yeah.
They'll just cancel.
This is why I have my app that I
Go to
have.
the next
Sorry, I'm not
one.
paying these fucking...
Drop that one.
And they're not
go
even
back to
paying
that
these fucking
one.
people the streaming
No.
residuals that they'd be getting anyway. So I don't feel bad about that at all.
Well, that's the thing about streaming. They don't give them residuals anyway.
No, and they don't even disclose.
They might pay them up front more.
Yes,
But they're not locked into.
No.
Streaming, as much as I do love it and I love being able to binge shows, etc., the model that they came up with, especially since they don't actually release their fucking numbers, they ruined the TV system.
Uh-huh.
because actors, if they were on a big show, that show, especially if it made it to 100 episodes, which I think is like 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
So it had to be a successful show. But once they made it to that point, then they could go into syndication. And they got residuals from syndication. So you could be on a very successful show, and when that ended, you'd have to jump off and just do something and whatever, keep going. You would get your residuals. You were still, as long as your product was being consumed, right, or is it being rerun or whatever it was, you were getting paid for that.
Yeah. And now that's not the case anymore. Even voice actors back in the day, that's why you used to see a lot of big actors and voice actors on what would seem like just a random animated series, is because back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, and early 2000s, Saturday morning cartoons, you know what those were? They were 30-minute toy commercials. That's why they existed, quite honestly.
Yeah.
That's where Transformers came from. Ninja Turtles, they were a comic at first, but it was, and also animated series, they immediately signed you for a syndication deal. So your first season was going to be like 65 episodes. And then they would trickle down to like the normal like 25 or 30 or whatever it was like back then. But you're already in syndication, so they're planning to, because they want to sell these toys, to have your TV show all over the world.
So they're constantly
from jump
using it.
And you're constantly making money for it. And now with streaming, that ain't happening anymore, and they don't make. And it sounded like consumerism at the time, which a lot of cases it was, but they actually did have the talent and the writers to back it up and make compelling storylines that still show up 30 years later. Because there are franchises that are not big movies and whatnot.
But also, look, it creates a competitiveness in the industry. So let's say you have someone who was on a very successful show, and they can sort of bank on their residuals and what have you. Then, not to say that they're just going to go into a retirement or whatever, but they can pick and choose their projects, and they can kind of carefully manage their career. Where someone else coming along, maybe they're getting a show, and whatever. But when you eliminate all of that, and everyone is scrambling for every single possible role that comes up, then you have way harder time ever getting cast in something, or ever even getting an audition for something. So, yeah, it ruined everything.
Yep. That and social media. Because now everyone wants followers, and that's how they're casting people. And these are random influencers that just blew up, and now they have a record deal 3 months later.
Again, where's the model for that? Where an influencer has made a successful movie. I guess Addison Rae has had a successful album.
Yeah.
But then she's the blueprint, because I can't remember anyone before her that did that. So I don't know why they're banking on all these followers, half of which are probably fucking AI anyways.
Exactly.
I don't know why they're banking on that. Where's the success model? Where are the movies and TV shows that these supposed influencers are on that are...
Besides Quinta, with Abbott Elementary. That's about it.
Okay, but that's a little different though too, because she was also writing and directing shit.
Yes, her own little skits and everything else, and
I mean, her social media taking off was because
of her creative,
all of her creative endeavors, for sure. It wasn't just that wasn't her gig.
Yeah,
like her full-time gig as being an influencer.
Yeah, she's like, "Hi guys, so next I'm going to be reacting to blah blah blah. Follow me and like and subscribe. Press that follow button."
No.
And then, 3 months later, why are you in this movie? This is strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally think that we should de-influence the world.
I agree.
They are like the Saturday morning cartoons. All those influencers are doing is trying to sell you something with every single video.
But without the creativity.
The tapping and the overexcitedness. And
it's more like a beggar on the street.
I don't get... and I know you're like this too, but I feel like there's such an opposite effect. When someone is screaming about pulling open a Labubu.
I can't. Purple one.
Losing their shit. Have you seen those Labubu videos?
Yes.
They're losing their shit. Like, it's a blue one! Like, they're losing their fucking mind. To me, that is an immediate turnoff.
Yes.
Like, that's crazy.
I
don't
can't
care
deal
how
with
cute those
anyone
little
yelling
monsters
at a
are.
screen in general because it's like one big infomercial.
Turns me off.
It's like, I'm not going to buy the ShamWow. This does not make me want to hear your
Stop
reaction.
yelling at me.
That's why the few people I do follow on YouTube, they have the most like normal. They're like, you're having a conversation. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like reviewing this like album for the first time, and they're like, okay, this is cool. I like this song. Like a normal person, not like, oh my god. Oh, I won't click on a video if I see an overly
No.
expressive reaction.
Oh my
like,
god, you guys.
like the two hands on the face, like you're
Right.
fucking Home Alone, and it's like reacting to this TV show. I'm like, and I'm not even gonna click on that because
No.
you're already gonna be obnoxious.
Absolutely not.
The people are just chilling in their room or in their car, like it's Rock that I brought up earlier, that are just like, hey guys, so like, let's talk about this episode. Bitch, what the fuck was that? But like,
Yeah.
you're actually, like, you're listening to a friend talk about something.
Well,
that
because
I can
they're
do.
bringing their opinion and fandom into it, where I think a real influencer, when I think of an influencer, it's someone who is essentially just selling you something.
Oh, totally.
That's the whole, they very rarely, if ever, have a negative review.
Uh-huh.
It's always link in the bio. It's always, you can get
Yep.
this at my shop. Here's my discount code. It's all just a racket for,
Yes.
because they get free shit,
Yeah.
and then they tell you to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You didn't buy it, why should I buy it?
Exactly. Oh no, there was this one.
Oh, I love this new beef tallow. It's great on my skin.
Right.
Shut
Shut
up.
up. One of my favorite influencers, who's like one of the top tech ones, his name is Marcus Brownlee, and you've probably seen his face. He was getting hate because he like was getting these like products, and there's this like weird like AI pen that you could like, it would like hologram on your wrist and all this stuff, and he's like, I'm successful and that's great, but I've always told you guys from when I've had no followers that I'm never going to just like give something a good review. He's like, this thing is shit. He's like, and I'm going to show you why. Not to spend your money buying this. He's all, this thing is glitchy. This doesn't work. Okay, this is kind of cool, but it's not consistent when working. It doesn't warrant you buying $500. This is all shit you could do on your phone already. Don't waste your money. I'm like, yes. And he's like 7 million followers or something like that. His own giant studio, and has branched out from his success. Those people I can deal with. He's never trying to sell you anything. He's just like, cool, this company sent me this, but I'm about to be honest with you.
The ones
sucks.
I like are the comedy channels that will, if they get a product deal, they'll make a skit about it.
Yeah.
And
Those are fun.
either they're being totally derogatory towards the product the entire time, or the skit is so bananas that there's they're actually like, how did they approve this?
Yeah.
They're not actually complimenting this brand in
At
any
all.
way. Yeah, I like those where like clearly like, this is an advertisement, and so we're gonna make fun of this product. You dared to give us money to
Right. You knew what you're getting yourself into. So let's go.
That I appreciate. That gives me respect for the brand, because I'm like, okay, they were willing to be roasted just for some product placement. So that I can at least appreciate, because it's up front. We know what it is.
Mhm.
They're doing a skit about it. They're not trying to tell me it's the best product in the world. Oh, beef tallow. All right, I think we'll leave it at that.
Leave it in a beef tallow.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Be sure to check out our sponsors and our show notes and save some money by using our coupon codes. Until next time,
Goodbye.
bye.